On today's episode, we're going to be building a roller stand for the bandsaw. See, we got the roller stand here from McMaster Carr. I think I paid like $300 for this, less than $300. It's 5 feet long. And what we're going to build is going to look like this. It's fairly straightforward. We're just going to build the structure on the bottom. Got a couple little T's to build and the base frame. And this bandsaw, we're going to take the wheels right off the bottom and use those holes if we can to bolt the bandsaw down. The reason we're doing this, I've got all this 7-inch bar that I have to cut up into pieces like this. So the straighter I can have my bar relative to the blade, the straighter my cuts, the less material I waste. And this is the steel we're going to use. We got some 3x3x1/4. That's going to be the base frame, and then some 2x2. That's going to be the T's that the roller stand sits on. So take our drawings here. So the first things that we're going to cut is our 2 T supports. So we need 2 pieces 13 inches and 2 pieces 18 inches. We're going to cut that from that 2-inch tubing down there. So we'll get to that right now. Okay, now we start setting up. Before I get right into it, I like to store my steel with a little bit of canola oil on it. Keeps it from rusting on the rack. It also works as a nice anti-splatter spray. But if I leave it too long, the dirt and grease sticks to the canola oil and makes it a little hard to weld. So. Okay, so you can basically see it's all laid out. We've got our main frame right there, and we've got our 2 T supports. On our roller rack, you can see they gave us a whole crap load of holes to use. So rather than put this all together and then try and drill the holes in the right place, we're actually going to drill the holes in the short pieces first, bolt them to this, and then when that's all welded together, we'll set the whole thing on as assembly, and that way I know that all the holes will line up. Might be a little confusing now, but it'll make sense later. So anyway, so we're also going to drill the holes in the base frame to put the rubber feet on. These are the rubber feet that are going to go in there. So they're 11 or 12 millimeter hole. We'll drill a 3/8 hole, have a little bit of play, but we'll probably put 1 here, 1 there, and 1 there. So 3 points make a plane. So no matter if the floor is not level, it'll not wobble if there's on 3 pads. I'll do all that drilling now because it's going to be a lot easier to do it in a little piece on the drill press. Same with these than it would be when it's all assembled and you have to flip the whole thing over and drill them by hand. So that's that. So I'll get at that now. Okay, before we put this all together, I'm gonna give all my edges a rip with the flap disc, and then I'm going to set it up, weld it up, and get ready to put the bandsaw on, so enjoy. Fucking loud. Square enough. One. So just like that, we've got the frame that the bandsaw is going to sit on, and then our tees will stand on it like that. I'm going to weld the tees right now, get them ready, but I'm not going to weld them to this until the bandsaw is on and bolted down, because we don't know exactly, once this bolted to the conveyor, we don't know exactly how close to the saw we want it. So we'll get the saw on there, we'll weld these up, we'll bolt these to the bottom of the roller, and then we'll slide it into the saw to exactly where we want it, and then weld it to the base frame, and we'll be close to done at that point. So the old adage, measure twice, cut once, is shown up here. I put this in the middle. I didn't even think that on the bandsaw, the vise is offset. The vise is not directly in the middle of the bandsaw. However, the work will be closer to the middle, and we want the work to be right over that leg, but it's still not going to work. So we're going to have to find out where the center of our work is going to be, and then I'm going to have to cut that tube off, move it over slightly, and re-weld it, which I didn't want to do, but it's the way she goes. So so 16 inches to the back of the vise. My largest work is 8 inches, so we'll split that in half so we can get directly under the center of it. That makes that 20 inches. So we need to move that center post over. Whoa, might get away with it. Well, sir, how's that going to work? Oh. We're going to get away with it. 20 inches. I might be out by 1 inch either way. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, we're going to forge ahead. falls. Out of that falls. Kent. Okay, try this again. So it's the next day. I've got everything complete. bar loaded up, everything's leveled. That error I made in the placement of the middle leg on the frame, I was able to correct just by offsetting the vertical to one side of the tube. And what that did was it brought my rollers directly in line with the fence of the bandsaw. So that's a win. Another change I made is I removed the bolts from the rack that were holding it down and replaced them with these 1/2-inch bolts that I machined the head down a little bit and welded to the tube. And then I put these 1/2-inch nuts on there. So what that's going to allow me to do at 4 corners is basically just play with these nuts to bring it up and down and get it perfectly in line with the deck. And that'll save me again from having to remove the roller, put a shim in, put it back together, test, shim, you know what I mean? So, and then if this thing ever gets bumped or we change positions in the shop and it shifts, we'll be able to correct it there. Next, we'll put these bushings on in 4 points in the corners, just to keep this thing from rolling off. It's several hundred pounds. If that lands on my foot, I'm not going to be happy. But all in all, it's looking like it's going to work. You know, like I said, this bar, I don't know exactly what it weighs, but it's heavy, and it rolls, you know, relatively free, which is a heck of a lot better than what I was dealing with before. So there you have it. That's how I built my roller rack for my bandsaw. If you want to build your own now, you know how. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.